Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dennis and welcome back to Spooktober day 26th. So this is the 26th day of October and today we will talk about UFO or UFO or unidentified flying object. So the reason why I want to discuss about this is because at first I kind of want to discuss about alien, but I don't know. It's not really. I mean, I don't really have like at the moment. I don't really have any sorts of interest towards aliens. However, I have interest in like extraterrestrial sightings, right? Like what they have done on Earth, basically. I'm kind of curious about like crop circle, like and then you know like uh in this case probably UFO, right? I guess then I will just talk about UFO, I guess UFO sightings, because the thing that makes this spooky is that the fact that people start to if this is true, right? If this is true, if people are not under influence, not under medicines or something like that, and they actually saw, like a flying object, like unidentified flying object, then it can be a little bit of spooky, right? Because like you don't know what it is, you don't know, then you will start making wild theory, wild guesses, and all the guesses about these kinds of stuff like aliens, extraterrestrial stuff, and so on and so on. So yeah, let's actually talk about UFO and potentially, like UFO sightings, right? And see which one is fake, which one is true, and like just basically discuss about how people see it from different perspective, right? From the people that actually said that he really saw it, and then from the perspective of people that can explain stuff, right? How this is not possible, how this is possible, right? Like how something else is possible, but it is not actually UFO. So yeah, there you go. It might be interesting to see how people reacted to this as well, right? Because again, like I think what makes this interesting is how to differentiate what is fake and what is the truth, right? And if you make these all of these images like fake, then how to convince people, like how to deceive people that this is actually fake and you can just say this is true, right? How to convince people to believe in such of ridiculousness, right? Or nonsense, basically. um, which is maybe their first intention. I'm not entirely sure, right? Like maybe people fake these images just to see how to make people believe them, right? Like how easy it is or how difficult it is, right? And then learn about the new approaches, right? Like how to invite people to believe in you, right? So that maybe they can use this in real life practices as well. Like maybe if they are working as like and like I don't know, like entrepreneur or business owner or something like that, right? How to convince people into believing them, right? So maybe this is like some sort of, I guess, practice. Again, how to influence people, right? So yeah, unidentified flying object, shortened as UFO or UFO, also called a UAP or unidentified aerial phenomenon, is any perceived aerial phenomenon that cannot be immediately identified or explained. Or on investigation, most UFOs are identified as known objects or atmospheric phenomena, while a small number remain unexplained. Okay, so there are some that still in questions, right? A photograph of purported UFO in Passaic, I guess, New Jersey, taken on July 31st, 1952. Okay, so this one over here, um, that one, right? Although if you ask me, this can also look like a lamb, a lamb fittings, I guess, like to prevent it from raining, probably. Like this is the fitting, and then there is the like the lamp inside this, right? So it's like to cover, right? It looks like that, honestly, if you ask me. And maybe these people actually shoot or shot this picture and thought, oh, might be nice to think that this is actually a UFO, right? Although this is probably just again a lamp fitter, right? Or lamp fitting, basically. um, on street, basically like street lamp, so that it is not like drenched in rainwater, and probably what is it again, like to prevent short circuit, right? But this is 1952. Again, people back then, it's probably difficult to manipulate objects, right? Unlike now, there's already lots of softwares, a lot of application that you can use to manipulate pictures, even videos as well, right? And but back then, these such things didn't exist. So it might be a little bit difficult, right? Maybe they put like some sort of, I don't know, like cover probably in their lens, in their camera lens, and then so that when the picture got taken, this part over here, it's probably like something that stick got stuck into the lens, right? Like like maybe cover this image so it looks like there is something over there. It's possible, right? Or like maybe let's just be optimistic that this is actually true, all of this is truth. UFO exists, and this is actual aliens that are observing earth, and maybe one day they will actually invade us or something like that, right? That's always a possibility, right? Like a possibility that lots of people probably don't want to happen, right? Yeah. Scientists and skeptic organizations such as the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry have provided prosaic explanations for a large number of claimed UFOs being caused by natural phenomena, human technology, delusions, or hoaxes. Small but vocal groups of ufologists favor unconventional pseudo-scientific hypotheses, some of which go beyond the typical extraterrestrial visitation claims and sometimes form part of new religions. Okay, so I guess people make religion out of this as well. I don't know. While unusual sightings have been reported in the sky throughout history, UFOs did not achieve their current cultural prominence until the period after World War II, escalating during the space age. Oh, I see. Yeah, it makes sense, I guess, because um, I think it's the space race, right, between US and um, Russia, I think, like who like who go to the space first, who land on like who landed on the moon first, like who reached the satellite the furthest first, and so on and so on, right? So like because of that, then a lot of people then start to, again, like I said, make wild theory about other life forms on other places in the universe, right? Yeah, it makes sense, I guess. Because of this, then people start making or reaching out things, right? Which it probably is not true, to be honest. The 20th century saw studies and investigations into UFO reports conducted by governments such as Project Grudge and Sign in the United States and Project Condine in the UK, as well as by organizations and individuals. So, uh, studies and investigation. Okay, so these groups, I guess, I guess this is like still under the influence of governments, right? Yeah, conducted by governments. So they probably like oh, as well as organization and individuals. So probably they like try to everything there is this issue about UFO, then they will try to debunk this, right? Like through scientific method, through technological perspectives, like is it edited or this is actually true, right? If it's actually a true picture without edits, um, then people can start other people can start like like studying if natural phenomenon can cause this, right? Maybe like I don't know, like maybe a bird that flew like bird that fly too quickly, and then the lens of the camera cannot quickly respond to that. Therefore there's this random shadow, right? Maybe this is like a bug that is very close to the camera as well, and so on and so on, right? Or like natural phenomenon, maybe this is like asteroids, or um yeah, I don't know, like maybe asteroids, right? That's possible because it falls down to earth, right? History. Early history before 20th century. 1561 celestial phenomenon over Nuremberg, as printed in an illustrated news notice. UFO enthusiasts have described the phenomenon as an aerial battle of ET origin. Skeptics find the phenomenon likely to have been a sun dog. Okay, what is sun dog again? I don't know. People have observed the sky throughout history and have sometimes seen unusual sights such as comets, bright meteors, one or more of the five planets that can be readily seen with the naked eye, planetary conjunction, and atmospherical optical phenomena such as parhelia and lenticular clouds. Okay, so this is basically what people think, right? Like all these debunkers, I would say. Um, Oh yeah, don't worry. It's just comets. It's just meteors. It's just asteroids. It's just our neighboring planet, probably, right? Because it's it's seeable, or it can be seen with naked eye, and maybe it's just a an eclipse, like an eclipse, or um optical phenomena as well, like maybe a rainbow, because again, like the sky is made up out of gases, right? And maybe these gases can actually reflect light as well, right? Therefore, if you take a picture, then maybe the result of the light got distorted or something like that, that caused this like mysterious spots or a thing that occur in the pictures in the final results, I guess, to occur, right? So there's that. One particularly famous example is Halley's Comet. This was recorded first by Chinese astronomers in 2040 before century, and possibly as early as 467 BC as well. So that's like 2500 years ago, potentially. Um, as it reaches the inner solar system every 76 years. It is often identified as a unique isolated event in ancient historical documents whose authors were unaware that it was a repeating phenomenon. Such accounts in history often were treated as supernatural portents, angels, or other religious omens, while UFO enthusiasts have sometimes commented on the narrative similarities between certain religious symbols in medieval paintings and UFO reports. The canonical and symbolic character of such images is documented by art historians, placing more conventional religious interpretations on such images. Some example. Julius Obsequens was a Roman writer who is believed to have lived in the middle of the 4th century AD. Okay, this book. Okay, woodcut by Hans. Okay, so this is all. Okay, so this is observations about this unusual aerial phenomena, right? So these authors over here probably recorded everything in their books, right? But then again, how to prove that what they're telling is true, right? Like what proves their story is true. So yeah, it's also probably interesting to discuss as well, right? Like maybe they're just made up all the contents, maybe, like again, nowadays anyway, all like most of the contents on the YouTube is not really that everything is scripted basically, right? Not only here but also like maybe in Instagram, in TikTok, or something like that. um People skip this, right? People skip things, like they made script and something like that. So maybe this also happened back then, but it's in different form, right? Because we just it's basically we have an advanced or more advanced technology, than we just do it more differently, right? But basically the same. Like it's just under the influence of I mean technology as well, right? Okay, 20th century and after. In the Pacific and European theaters during WW2 round, glowing fireballs known as Foo Fighters were reported by Allied and Axis pilots. Some proposed some proposed Allied explanation at the time included St. Elmo's fire, the planet Venus, hallucinations from oxygen deprivation, or German secret weapons. So basically, what this saying is that um, back then if this happened, it is basically a bad thing, right? Because what if some random countries decided to have war with your country, right? Like there is World War I, there is World War II. What if there is the third one? What if there is the fourth one, and so on and so on, right? So like maybe a weird thing in the sky back then is probably a big concern, not to people but more like to the military, right? Like they probably are concerned because of like, oh, what's that? Is that like a missile that just passed by? Is that like an airplane, like military airplane from maybe from the opponent's country, like opposed country or enemy's country or so on and so on, right? So, these, I guess, yeah, this kind of spooks them, right? Especially the military, because what if there would be like bombs, right? Because then again, let's remember, right? There is the bomb in Japan, right? In Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? That's just the two atomic bomb, right? Like during these kinds of period of war. So like what if other countries do the same thing to us, right? Maybe that's what they thought. And yeah, I guess this is what probably was a little bit concerning back then, although it's probably still now. I would say if like from the military suddenly they saw or recorded like like a weird objects flying by in their territorial, then one I guess one hypothesis that they have, it is like military planes from other country that then can be potentially harmful to them, right? Especially during these times of the year as well. Like this year, there's already so many conflicts, right, between countries, and like it got heated, and it's just bad, right? Like like again, like it's just bad that again things like these can be a little bit concerning, right? A little bit spooky as well, although that's for governance level, right? Like a military threat basically. But for us, probably like for mere humble citizen, then we probably think about this as some sort of probably like entertainment, I would say. Like then we can make this into like alien, there's other life form, and so on and so on, right? Our perceptions about UFO will probably be a little bit more imaginary, right? Imaginative, or using our imagination basically, like just fantasy, right? It's not real. Yeah, like the actual problem is probably where um the military, like I said, the military think that this can be like all sorts of like maybe a possible threat, right? Military threat basically. So yeah, there you go. Okay, notable incidents, I guess, in Britain, and then France, United States, Pennsylvania, and then Travis Walton claimed to be abducted by aliens. I guess, yeah, like then people can start making this stuff, right? Like as entertainment purpose, right? So yeah, there you go, I guess. Um, if you ask me, do I believe in such thing like UFO at anyway, at least, right? Like alien riding their planes in UFO? No, but I would just say straight out no, without thinking probably. The reason is why because the UFO looks, I guess, like the flying saucer, right? It's just like circular with and then another like hemisphere, I think, on top. Uh, it looks ridiculous, honestly. Like if other life form existed and they can, like it possibly is very far away, right? Because we already know what's going on in solar system at least, and apparently there is no, like human size life form, right? So if they really go here, I would say that they will need a lot of prepares, right? Like their spaceship, which is the UFO, will not be as ridiculous as what we thought, right? Which is the flying saucer. I'm thinking about like actual spacecraft, right? If you watch in, like maybe in Star Wars movies, the big ships, right? Like again, like in Marvel movies as well, the alien stuff, right? Like like Thanos' spaceship, right? Yeah, like that. I would think that alien, if they do exist, they will, if they come here, they probably will ride those badass looking kind of spacecraft, not just flying saucer, because that's again ridiculous, right? Looks weak, looks prone, like looks unprepared, like if anything, then their spacecraft will be even, like actual spacecraft. So yeah, that's just my opinion. Honestly, if you ask me, right? Do I believe? The answer is no, and why? I just said about the how the UFO looks, right? It's kind of ridiculous that it's just a circular plate. I mean, a circular plate, and then there's with a hemisphere room on top of it, right? It's just weird, if you ask me. Um, okay, so here we go. What's this? The Rendlesham pyramid during its explosion. Okay. Oh, so this is probably like the actual thing, probably, right? Yeah. And then famous hoaxes. Okay, the Maury Island incident. Okay, this looks like this might be, a great topics for future, probably. And then this one, over the space of 2 decades, made various claims about his meetings. Okay, so this is just made up stories, right? And then Ed Walters, a building contractor, allegedly perpetrated a hoax in Breeze, Florida. Seen a small UFO flying near his home, took some photographs of the craft. Yeah. Okay, that's just straight hoax, right? I guess. I mean, it's already been said over there that it's hoax. Terminology, okay. UFO was coined 1953 by the U.S. Air Force. Oh, okay. I guess it makes sense again, right? Because unidentified, um, it means unrecognized, right? And then flying, obviously, because it is flying, and then it's an object, right? Like the obviously as well. So yeah, maybe um it's called UFO just like that. I guess it makes sense, right? That the military actually called this that way. I mean that introduced the name the first time, right? Well, I guess that kind of backfired to themselves, right? Because then people start making fake things about this, right? I guess. Investigations of reports, I guess this is just what people believe what happened, right? And then this one as well. Yeah, the first time I looked at this picture, oh, this is just a refraction, right? Like a reflection or refraction basically. And yeah, Fata Morgana, which is when something, I guess, try to appear, right? It's just because uh, I think there's an explanation about this, which is again like a reflection or refraction of lights, um, because of, I think, like the curvature of Earth, and then because of the heat as well potentially, that like that warp the space surrounding it, right? Because again, like because it is very hot, therefore the air molecules become very reactive, right? Because they are moving, then light that passes through it also got kind of scattered around, right? Therefore causing these random images, right? Like random shadows in the horizon, which is, yeah, I guess it's pretty much very explainable, if you think about it, right? But yeah, there is a lot of this as well. I guess this is all the investigations. I guess I find it interesting that, yeah, this is just so long, right? A long list of all these investigations. Um, Again, like I found it interesting because the government tried, right? Like actually try to investigate this if this is actually true or not, because again, like if this is actually true, then they might be the one that is in trouble, right? Because like if big if it's actually true that it is like a life form, extraterrestrial life form, then there's always a possibility that they will invade, right? And like obviously, if they invade Earth, then the government will be the one that will be responsible to handle that, right? Maybe that's why they are curious about this still, right? With all these studies. So yeah, and then the next one, studies. I guess that's the same. Popular culture. I guess this is the one that will be in movies, I guess. And like yeah, like in movies, right? What Yeah, Star Trek over here, Star Wars, kind of the same. I guess I mean Star Trek. Then um and then yeah, I got with Area 51 as well, where people start to make theories about air, right? And yeah, um, I guess that's about it, right? Yeah, notes, um, references, and bibliography, okay, and external links if you want to know more, I guess, about UFO. Related articles, ufology, extraterrestrial hypothesis, Project Grudge, which we kind of mentioned, right? Project Grudge is, I think, yeah, the investigation of UFOs. But that's about it, I guess. I hope you guys enjoy it. This has been a Spooktober Day 26. There's still 5 more days towards October. Um, I hope you guys are having a great October, I guess, having great Spooktober by like maybe movies, maybe games, like horror games during this period of time. Probably there will be lots of horror games from indie developers like popping up, right? Which I'm positive anyway. And maybe when this video is up, there's probably already like a trend about horror stuff, right? Like maybe something happened. I believe so because the internet, every now and then there must be, there will be trending, right? And seeing that this is October, that is associated with horror, spooky stuff. Um, Spooktober, as people said, then you know the possibility of such thing happening is high, right? So yeah, maybe I will cover some of that as well in, I don't know, like maybe in November, in December, who knows, right? But yeah, until then, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you again tomorrow with another discussion. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you again very very soon, and see ya.